What's up, guys? Welcome back to Revelation 11:27, where we speak the truth and where you can be yourself. Where you could be yourself, where you could laugh, where you could cry. It's okay, whatever. Just let me tell you guys something. Where's my bell? Oh, yeah, right here. Just because you cry, right, does not make you weaker, or it doesn't make you less of a man or less of a woman. No. Tears are actually powerful if they're genuine, if you use them the correct way. Not fake tears, not crocodile tears, no, none of that. Actual, genuine tears from whatever it is that you feel, right? And there's many reasons why you could cry, right? If you're crying because of what someone else may have done to you, or the way they made you feel, right? For example, me. I'm so, let's see how I put this. I'm so genuine and authentic, and that if someone who I held in some type of importance in my life made me feel a certain way, or did something to me that would make me cry, right? I would cry not because of that person, not because of what they did to me, not because of how they made me feel, not because of how I looked to others. I would cry because of me, because I think the most important thing about me are my feelings, are my true, genuine feelings. And if someone had the audacity to play with them, I'm crying because I've gone through so much and I've separated myself from everyone who would have the ability to hurt me again, that I would cry because it happened again. And because my feelings are so valuable to me, that if someone had the audacity to do that, to play with them, or to hurt me in some kind of way, I would cry to just let out those emotions of being betrayed. Again, if you get my drift, like, it's not about the other person. No, they could go fuck themselves. Whoever they are. Because one thing about me, I've gone through so much. And like I said before, right? You may not see it on my face, which is a good thing. Or on my nervous system, which is another good thing. But when I tell you that I will never allow myself to be disrespected like I was before, or played around with like I was before, that is a fact. And if I ever cry, it's because there's just so much passion inside. I mean, so much amazing feelings, that the fact that someone else thought they could play with it instead of actually using them, instead of actually taking care of them, my feelings, that it's on them, right? But it's okay. That's why I say always move with love. Because when you have love within you, no one can steal that. People can get a feel of it when you are around them, when you speak to them, when you share moments with them. But the moment that they play with it, the moment that they think that your love and your good feelings are a weakness, and they want to play with it, and they want to just, do whatever it is that they want to do, and that's when they will never get that from me ever again. Queen of Water, talk about emotions. See, the Queen of Water is not only loving and kind, right? But she's very emotionally wise, and she knows who to give her love to, and she knows who not to give it to. She knows who deserves her love, her emotions, her compassions, and she also knows who doesn't. And you could think that you're wiser, and you could play around, right, and betray these beautiful feelings. But at the end of the day, the Queen of Cups is still going to be good, because she is in control of her emotions. And she knows when to separate emotions from logic, right? There should be no emotions to any of these karmic people. There should be no emotion towards any man that wants to play with your heart. There should be no emotions to anyone that is on the fence with you, trying to keep you in the loop. No, fuck all that. Thank you, Christopher Columbus. Yeah, and it's like you're protecting with the Seven of Swords here. It's okay to protect your feelings. It's okay to guard yourself. To protect your beautiful heart, because that's what people want. People want to get it inside of your beautiful heart so they could just step on it and break it and make it bleed even more and just walk away. But no. That is why you have to be emotionally wise. And release. Release whatever feelings like we just spoke about. If you need to cry by yourself, cry by yourself. But let me tell you, once you cry by yourself and you release all these emotions that have just been bottled up in you, that should be the last time you cry about that specific topic. I'm not interested in speaking about anyone and anyone else right now, right? I feel like I give so much knowledge and wisdom here on my channel, and I see the comments. I'm so grateful. But if you still decide to continuously confuse yourself, then that's on you. What else do we gotta know here, Spirit? What else do we gotta see? Yeah. And it's okay if you have a fear of the unknown, right? It's okay if you don't know where you're going. But don't be over there trying to involve someone else in your unsure journey. Right? Don't appear like you seem like you have it all figured out. Don't appear like you seem like you know where the fuck you're going and you really don't. Instead, you're just over there playing with people because you're confused. Because you don't know what it is that you want. No one has time for that anymore, especially me. And that is the justice, right? Maybe you didn't plan enough. But the only one to blame here is really you, right? Can't be blaming people for things you didn't take care of. Can't be blaming people as to why your life is not going the way that you want it to go, when you really have not been putting in the work that you need to put in whatever it is, really. But look, to whoever has not planned on their steps forward, to whoever continues to keep themselves in a confusion state just because they want to, because there is no confusion. The truth is seen. We already know who the thieves are. We already know who the criminals are. We already know who's focused on what it is that they need to be focused on, and we already know who is not focused. Instead, we know who is focused on other people's lives. It's mostly people that claim to be, religious, that claim to be godly when they're not. But look, there's a death in the air. And the Hierophant is here. I have the power. I have the power vested in me by God to do what it is that I'm doing now. To give spiritual advice, because I've taken the spiritual advice given to me by God. Hierophant, higher word, right? Higher knowledge, higher wisdom. The same thing I do here, because it is my life purpose. And because I have that power, I also have the power to bring in death into this life. And by death, I mean ending things quickly. It's nothing to me. I've gone through so much that the first time I see a red flag, that is the last time I'll see it. And yes, you can look at me as, oh, but Ray, he's always happy. Ray's always smiling. Yes, I am. But no one is ever playing with my feelings again. No one is ever going to walk over my beautiful big heart. No one is ever doing that again. I promise you that. And if I have to end whatever it is in my life for that not to happen, that's nothing to me. I do that. Like 1, 2, 3. What is going on here, Spirit? What do we need to see? What do we need to know? And nothing impresses me. Well, no, I don't want to speak like that. Like, material things, money, cars, houses, that shit doesn't do anything to me. Do I like you? Do I like your personality? Do I connect with you? That's what's important to me. Sweet dreams. That's how I sleep, regardless of what's going on around me. It's called temperance, right? I'm able to still relax, still meditate, regardless of whatever it is that is going on around me. And that is the emotional balance, the emotional control that the Queen of Cups has over her own emotions. And it takes a while for you to get to that level. It takes, like I said, you have to go through so much. And each time that you go through those things, you have to come out of them stronger than the last time. And you have to use what you learned throughout the last times on this new time. saving. It looks like someone here is saving themselves. So saving themselves, like me, and celibate for almost a year, or whatever it is. If you're saving money, whatever it is, you're having sweet dreams, right? And then we have someone else here with an illness, who's sick, diseased, weak, fragile. I wonder why. Well, whoever's sick just has to live and learn, right? Or none, really, because maybe they're too late to learn. They have no more lives to live. I'm not about to pick all those. Should we get one more? Gain. So there's something to gain from this whole situation, right? There's a lot to learn. Oh, yeah. There's a lot to learn. A lot to learn about the people that you're having all of this conflict with. Maybe it's the same people that are sick. Maybe it's the same people that keep you confused. Well, not confused, like, let's not act stupid. Like, if you allow yourself to be confused at this point, at this stage, then you're just never gonna change. Because you're not living and you're not learning. Thank you, Spirit, for that beautiful message. What else we gotta see, Spirit? What else we gotta know? Yeah. And to me, it just looks like you were being so methodical about your steps forward, right? You were trying to be careful. You were trying to plan. But what did you plan? You haven't done anything. You haven't planned anything. Instead, you allowed yourself to get confused again, to be brought back down. Yikes, right? Look, there's death. Got death twice. And that death could be good, or it could be bad. But to me, it just looks like you've had so much time to really strategize your steps forward, to really plan your steps forward, and you still have not done so. So this death could just be the end to whatever relationship you thought you had in your destiny. Right? Maybe you were trying to play with someone's heart. Maybe you were keeping the other person in a loop. Just because you have this big ego, right? Just because you probably have all this money, just because you have this career. But did you even ask if the other person really cares about any of that? No, because you're used to people just telling you, oh my God, I want to be with you. Oh my God, you're so sexy. Oh my God, dude. But not me, I'm different. I could give a fuck how you look like. I could give a fuck how much money you have. If you don't make my heart tingle, if you don't give me butterflies in my stomach, you can go. And you know why it's so easy to me? Because every interaction that I have with someone, I pour in my energy, pour in my love and my kindness into that. And if someone has the audacity to turn around and see that as a weakness, and death to them. So yeah, you probably did have a partnership. You probably did have a divine connection. You probably did have someone that was made for you and you made for them. But you also fucked it up. And that is it, really. A death. And you know what's so cool about this too? Let's say this is like a divine union, right? If one person is the one playing with the other person's emotions, with the other person's reality, with the other person's feelings, they can do that. Because you know what? The other counterpart will still be on their path. The other counterpart will still have another counterpart. Because your position, your role as a divine counterpart has ended with this double death here. Because you continuously keep yourself confused because you want to, because you don't want to see the truth, or because you're not comfortable being yourself. And because you do that, because you've been doing that, you don't even think about how the other person feels. Like, you don't even think about how I felt around all of this silence. And I've had to find everything out myself. And still me knowing about how my divine partner, how my divine counterpart has also worked against me with my own brother, still I had an open ear to want to listen to that. But not anymore, right? You can continue to take your time on, but really you're not going anywhere. Because whatever relationship, whatever divine connection you thought you had is gone. And I'll still have my divine masculine. That's one thing God for sure promised me. And I know what God promised me. And I will have that. Anything else? Any confusion? Any problems with your wife? Any problems with the kids? Any problems of embarrassment? Any problems of cheating? Any problems with third party? Any problems with that? Keep that shit to yourself. Anchor. The anchor is a sign of a stable event, basked in sunshine, secure and content. When the anchor's some distance away from you, hope will fade and leave life askew. Maybe I was the anchor in your life. Could be as a friend or whatever. And when I'm there, when the anchor is there, that's where the happiness is. That's where the love is. That's where the hope and faith, that's where the motivation is. And as you know, the anchors are pretty heavy. So if the anchor is removed from your life, and your hope fades, and you're just there, floating away, like a wandering soul, don't ask yourself why. Look at your past actions. Look how you treated someone who did not deserve to be treated like that. And hopefully there you'll realize, but even if you realize, the anchor, it's gone. And it's not coming back. Which is why we have a death. For a miraculous rebirth. All right? Thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me to come in here and just be myself and speak whichever way. From the beginning, really, from the beginning of everything. So thank you. And I'm fine. Remember, tears are powerful. You're just, releasing what we're speaking about. Okay. See you guys next time. Bye.